Last time, we finally saw Frieza's return. As Granola, Broly, and Piccolo teamed up to fight him, it seemed like they weren't enough. Despite how strong they've grown too, Frieza's grown a lot stronger than everyone expected. So where's that going to lead us now? We'll be wrapping up the story in this finale of What If Kakarot Was in Vegeta's crew. As Frieza leaves the planet, he hears a voice in his head. Whis is projecting Vegeta's voice to him. Vegeta asks why he's running away, and Frieza said that fight simply wasn't enough to entertain him. Plus, it's like he's always wanted. He wants to kill everyone at once, not just individually. It doesn't seem fair that way. Not that he cares about fairness, but it makes him seem stronger if he does this all at once. Plus, what's the point in testing out his power if there's only a few people to use it against? Besides, out of those three, he really only cared about Broly, who recently did betray him after all. He's still more focused on the other four Saiyans though, and asks why Vegeta won't come out to fight. And Vegeta says they will fight soon. They'll settle this. Frieza may have grown powerful, but this is gonna go exactly like last time. He'll lose again, and this time Vegeta says he'll make sure to kill Frieza. But Frieza simply tells him to work this into his schedule. He's gotten quite busy, and the idea of revenge, it's not really at the front of his mind. He does want the Saiyans dead after all, but it's not his main priority. He has a whole empire to run. Plus, he's so confident in his power that he's not really too worried either, especially because now that they're talking in his head, they must have seen his black form. He can't wait to use it against them. Vegeta and his crew get to Granola, with Granola apologizing for them too, being the only one that's conscious at the moment. Beerus and Whis talk amongst themselves too. They were the transport here after all. Whis wonders if this battle with Frieza will be enough to push them beyond their limits. It seems though 3 from Earth were able to do so already. And Beerus is kinda curious as to how strong Frieza truly is. There's no way he could be above him at the moment, right? Either way, it should be pretty interesting to watch the Saiyans fight. At their current power, the 4 of them are far stronger than he could have ever imagined. But Kakarot apologizes to Granola too. He shouldn't have been gone so long, same for the rest of them. Raditz says it makes sense that they want to attack that soon, especially not realizing where Frieza is in terms of power. Their last gauge of his strength was when he first turned golden. Although he was pretty strong back then too. And Nappa didn't realize he would be this strong. They underestimated his strength far more than they realized. Even without Frieza spending 10 years on that planet where he trained in the manga, Frieza's regular training has still been more than enough, especially because he's doing it pretty consistently over the course of all these years that the story's been going on. At least after his first defeat. He's trained way more than the Saiyans realized. But it's the same for the Saiyans. Frieza doesn't realize how strong they've grown too, and Nappa says those years of training haven't been for nothing. They've been hard at work, and Raditz proclaims that they've gone beyond godhood. Vegeta can see that these 3 have grown a lot as well. And after hearing about another Saiyan landing on Earth, he and the others are finally glad to meet Broly. He does seem pretty interesting, especially with that latent strength he has. Considering he's that strong with just regular Super Saiyan, it's pretty incredible. Kakarot asks Whis if he could heal the group, but Beerus stops it. He wants to see how they're going to handle this even with that issue. They're not going to give help. Alright, that's fine. Take them to Earth then. They go back to Earth, and then he asks Monaido to heal them. With how much Monaido's healed everyone, he's grown beyond his limits too. So he could heal people this powerful. Oh, so they didn't even need Whis anyways. At least for this. And now with them back on Earth, Vegeta meets Paragus as well. Same for the rest of the Saiyans. Hearing how strong the Saiyans are and seeing how strong Granola and Piccolo were, he's given up on taking revenge against Vegeta, especially with them having a common enemy right now. Not to mention, Broly's already on their side, and he's the weapon that Paragus had, so there's no way he could even use Broly against them. He still blames Chilai and Lemmo for that. But it doesn't matter. If this were a few years ago when he was first meeting Vegeta, he'd definitely attack right now. But Paragus just wants this over with. He's enjoyed peace for a little bit. Briefly being here on Earth, even with the threat of Frieza looming over, after wasting so much of his life on Vampa, experiencing this peace for once is pretty nice, and he kinda wants to keep that. The only way of doing that would be giving up his grudge against Vegeta and helping them to defeat Frieza. Paragus simply wishes them luck. So now the group has the plan. They could head out right now and fight him. But it looks like they won't even need to do that because a Frieza Force ship then descends on the planet. They can immediately sense his power too. It's Frieza himself. He came directly to Earth. He steps off the ship looking pretty happy too. He was waiting for all of them to be here in one spot, and he wants to scorch the Earth in the process too, since they've grown pretty fond of it. That'll make their death much more entertaining for him. So this is all perfect for him. He was able to draw them out all together and to the place where he wanted to fight them. This is going to be way more fun and fulfilling for him. And you know, he won't completely destroy Earth. Of course, he's going to scorch it and kill everyone on here, but who knows, maybe there's some value in selling this planet. And it looks like Granola too. It's just going to be like what he did to Planet Cereal. Except this time he doesn't need Saiyans to help him. He's going to single-handedly wipe out everyone on this planet and then sell it to the highest bidder. The group cautiously gets ready. 5 Saiyan warriors, plus Granola and Piccolo Jr. This is all still weird for Piccolo too. The stuff Frieza's saying is stuff that he would have said a while ago. But now given his circumstances, he's actually the one defending Earth. He should have used these past few years to take over it himself, but maybe something's changing in him, and he doesn't even realize it. And Frieza's glad to finally get rid of everyone here. No more Saiyans to annoy him. As for Piccolo, no more competition, because while King Piccolo's crew wasn't really too big, soon enough they might have become actual competition for Frieza. And as for Granola, that's a blemish on his resume. The Saiyans were supposed to wipe out everyone on that planet after all, so he didn't really accomplish the job that he wanted. Plus, it's another person in this rebellion group, so of course he has to go. Monito, Paragus, Chilai, and Lemma watch from nearby, as Vegeta, Nappa, Raditz, and Kakarot go Super Saiyan Blue Evolution, which amazes Granola to see because he didn't even realize they had this. With the four of them together, they've not only ascended Super Saiyan God, but even ascended that ascension of it. Of course, they got Super Saiyan Blue. But by now, with the four of them constantly training together for the past few years, they've evolved beyond that. Frieza then instantly goes into his black form. Now, of course, Black Frieza didn't get as many years of training as he did in the manga, but he's still incredibly powerful, although not unstoppable. Plus, this form isn't flawless either. He's worked on it for a while, and can maintain the power pretty well, which is why no one was sensing it before. He was able to actually suppress it a bit. But it's not like he's using it with 100% efficiency. He's still redoing the whole process he did for his true golden form. It's a shame King Cold never trained like him too, because he might have gotten this as well, although his father was far too prideful. But Frieza grew past that pride. That pride is what killed him in the end against Broly. His father may have brought him back from near dead, but clearly he didn't have the same dedication as Frieza, so he doesn't even care that he's gone. And it's kind of a shame too. He really wanted to use his golden form against them because it's a mockery of their Super Saiyan form, but they've all moved beyond that. Oh well, he much prefers this black and silver color rather than that one. He'll look much better doing this. The five begin fighting as the three others get ready to jump in too. Before, Frieza wasn't sure if he was stronger than the gods, but now, he could actually test it out. Plus, Beerus and Whis are watching from nearby too. He wants to give them a really good show. With Beerus a little bit concerned, Frieza does actually seem stronger than they thought. Is Frieza truly above a god of destruction at this point? They'll have to wait and see. He's clearly not at full power yet. Piccolo then goes into his orange form, with Granola going into his limitless form. And they tell Broly to not hold back this time. Even if he goes berserk, they have to use everything they can. He goes into Super Saiyan, but then starts transforming beyond that too. Of course, with all the time they've had training, he's had access to his full power form, but he's much more prone to going berserk in that. And he was never able to use against Frieza because he wanted to remain coherent the entire time by using just regular Super Saiyan. It's a 50-50 shot if he goes berserk or not in this. And he was about to use it in the last battle, but by the time he decided to, he was knocked out before he could. But he pulls it off here, going into a controlled full power form. It wouldn't have made much difference there anyways, but hopefully it could help out here. An all-out battle begins, a 7v1. And Frieza's really enjoying himself. They're using everything they've got, and they're only using it to fight one person. He gets to see what they've learned in these past few years. They've grown so much as martial artists. Not only has their strength grown considerably, but their attacks, the synergy that they fight with, their strategies, all the techniques they're using. It's truly incredible. These look like completely different warriors from the Saiyans that he knew before, which just makes it better that Frieza's defeating them at the moment. He's loving all of this. Plus, with 7 of them attacking at once, it does get a little bit hectic. You can't really have 7 people deliver a simultaneous melee attack after all. The Saiyans try and push Frieza as far into the atmosphere as possible without going into space. This way, Earth does stay safe, and they could fight more. Nappa looks to Raditz and says he hasn't felt this thrill in a while. Raditz can't believe it either. To think that he's grown this strong, and not just that, but a low-class warrior at this level. The 4 of them are about on par with each other. Of course, there's slight discrepancies, but it's not like before. Years ago, Raditz was basically useless fodder to them, and the 4 of them didn't even work as a team, really. But now that's completely changed. Everyone's pulling their weight. And even though it seems like Frieza's winning at the moment, Vegeta sees an opportunity. He wants Frieza to witness the true power of the Saiyans. This is a combo they've created, and they all get ready. Quickly, everyone backs off, with Piccolo, Granola, and Broly a bit lost, but they also back off too. Frieza then spins around, launching a bunch of lasers and ki blasts at them. A dazzling light show illuminates the earth. Around the world, this light show can be witnessed too. It's like a worldwide display of fireworks. The group desperately tries to dodge all of them, but Nappa doesn't. He prepares his ultimate move, an evolved version of his giant storm. His ki flares up dramatically, and all the ki blasts that Frieza's launching, they all coalesce towards him somehow. Straining himself, Nappa warps all the ki blasts around him, putting them into his own attack. They then all swirl under Frieza, forming into a massive geyser that launches upwards. This is his newest attack, Cataclysmic Cyclone. Frieza puts 2 hands down and pushes it downwards, but someone flies above him, with Raditz quickly launching his ultimate attack, an evolved Double Sunday which he calls Leap Year. Frieza's caught between an attack pushing him down and an attack pushing him upwards, although the one from below is a lot stronger, given that it's using his own attacks too. Very impressive. They're fighting a lot more interestingly now. They're getting creative with their attacks too. Well done. But something in front of Frieza catches his eye. A Gamma Burst flash from Vegeta. He tries to escape backwards, but something then hits him in the back. Surprisingly enough, Piccolo joins in too, using a Makanko Sappo, commenting that he thought this attack would be enough to penetrate through Frieza, but it seems not. But thankfully, with all the Saiyans attacking, he had more than enough time to charge this. Okay, well, Frieza still has the sides to escape to. This won't be tough. Plus, these 4 attacks do sting a bit, but with all of them together, it's not going to be enough to kill him. But then on one side, he sees Broly launch a blast from his mouth. And then the other side, Granola has both his hands pointed out like guns, launching a rapid flurry of ki blasts. From 4 sides around him, as well as above and below, Frieza's facing 6 different attacks. Slowly he starts to form a barrier around him, briefly pushing all these back. Someone's missing. It's one of the Saiyans. It's that low-class one. He's lost track of him, and Frieza then senses something nearby. Quickly he turns over to where it is, but it disappears, with Kakarot moving quickly and vanishing behind him, entering the barrier that Frieza's in. It was nice of him to create this, and Frieza could see that Kakarot's fist is glowing, very violently too. It's vibrating, and the barrier that they're inside is shaking. Kakarot could feel it, his ki's flaring up, his power skyrockets. It's almost as if the spirit of rebellion itself is empowering him. But slowly all the attacks stop. Well, not really. Granola starts to warp every attack around him, using all of his power to try and control them. He'll basically act as a catalyst for their attacks, redirecting them. Their beams all start warping around Frieza. And using his heightened senses and everything with his limitless form, he individually targets each of these attacks, taking all of his focus and power to do so. With him condensing these attacks too to make them more accurate, he could tell they're going to win here. All these attacks are aimed at Frieza's vital points. And now Frieza's feeling stunned. What is this power he's feeling? This form should have been enough. But Kakarot says against them, it's not going to work. He realized this long ago. Frieza was bored into his power and he got far too comfortable, especially without facing any real losses besides against them. He wasn't prepared for this, as strong as he might be. Sure, he might have trained, but how many times has he been in a real fight like this? Especially with that form that he's using. It does seem pretty unstable. Hard work got them all here. Even though Frieza surprisingly showed up on Earth, they were still prepared. And this is what's going to lead to his downfall. Frieza tells Kakarot he's scum, a useless piece of low-class trash. Those Saiyans don't even like him. But Kakarot says he couldn't be more wrong. The ki around Kakarot's fist continues to charge up even further, with all the attacks continuing to hurt Frieza too, as he tries to hold them off. But Kakarot then grips his other hand around Frieza's neck. Kakarot tells Frieza his circumstances didn't mold him. He made his own destiny in life. The class he was born into didn't dictate who he was. He was destined to be a weak warrior, possibly one that would have died on planet Vegeta. And he didn't even realize his father was the first one to break that cycle of being stuck as a low-class warrior that's not exceptional at all. And Kakarot's continued that legacy, especially with his brother. What he is right now is a powerful, godly warrior. Frieza says he should have killed him a while ago when he had the chance. And Kakarot smirks. It's too late for that now. Although, he kinda gets that sentiment. They should have killed him a while back too. But this time they won't make the same mistake. He holds a fist up to Frieza's chest and delivers a 1-inch punch. But it's no normal punch. All of Kakarot's ki enters Frieza. He's felt the pain like he's never felt before, especially with all the attacks still hitting him on every other side, with Granola thankfully redirecting them so they don't hurt Kakarot either. But then, there's a powerful purple explosion. That was no regular ki attack either. Beerus watches from the sidelines elated. He can't believe it. Kakarot just pulled off a Hakai. That's amazing, and it's an actual one too, not a fake Hakai. The Saiyans have all practiced this, but no one has pulled it off yet on this scale at least. Kakarot used the momentum from this to launch him back too. As Frieza's chest starts getting erased, he screams in agony, as the rest of the attacks finish him off too. Kakarot used all his ki on that, but he's going to add one more of his own too, charging an ultimate rebellion trigger. With the power of these 7 warriors combined, just barely, they're able to win here, killing Frieza, with him slowly being erased by Kakarot's Hakai. They did it. They won. Another ship flies over to the area, and a familiar face steps off, watching as everyone powers down, looking all beat up too. Vegeta recognizes who it is. It's Bulma. He yells out at her to be more careful. Why is she over here? And Bulma tells him to relax. She's been watching this entire time and she's been fine. Plus it's all over now. And she makes fun of him too. What, is he starting to care about her? She hasn't seen him in so long. Where have they been? Vegeta blushes and yells at her. Stop patronizing him. The other Saiyans all laugh at this. They should have expected her to be here too. A few days pass. Everyone now knows what paths are going to go down. After all this time, Monaido's finally able to wish Planet Cereal back. They've waited so long to do this. And they're going to go back there. Monaido even suggests that Piccolo should become Guardian of Earth. He might not realize it, but he's got good in him somewhere. In their time together, he's shown Piccolo how to make his own set of Dragon Balls too if he ever decides. Now, Piccolo turns this down, but it does stick with him. Him, as a Guardian, he can never see that. Granola thanks everyone for everything too. He's finally got his home back, and he could return. The Saiyans that he thought were his enemies before, they saved him if anything, and made him stronger than ever, and they helped bring his planet back. Kakarot says that's not the case though. It wasn't them that did it. Granola's strength was molded on his own. They weren't even here in those few years that he was training. Even after wishing for power, that was basically just a catalyst for Granola. Kakarot reminds him, it's hard work that got him here. Everything beyond that wish was his own work. He holds out the same hand that he used to kill Frieza, with Granola smiling, shaking it. He tells Kakarot this won't be the last they see of each other. He knows where to find them because Bulma told the rest of the Saiyans to stay here. It took a lot of convincing for Vegeta, but he reluctantly agreed. And she's pretty happy that they decided to stay. She could already tell they've adapted to Earth after all. Vegeta's already wearing Earth clothes that she gave him. Broly and Paragus also have nowhere else to go, so they stay here too. Same for Chi Lai and Lemmo. Besides, Paragus is old. He spent long enough fighting. Now that this war is finally over, He can enjoy that peace that he briefly got to experience. And clearly, Vegeta isn't as bad as he thought, so maybe he shouldn't kill him. It might be nice to retire here. Raditz then puts a hand on Kakarot's shoulder. They've finally done it. Their father would be proud. Sending Kakarot to their crew was probably the best thing he could have ever done, at least as far as Raditz knows. He wonders how things would have gone if he sent him somewhere else. Well, who knows? The brothers watch as Granola's ship goes into space. Just like Granola, just like Paragus and Broly, they're free from their past. Their story is one of inherited wills, a story of breaking free from the past that trapped them, and breaking out of the barriers that were placed in their life. The 4 Saiyans all broke free from that. And the fact that Raditz and Kakarot are actually acting brotherly now, that should be more than enough to prove that. Kakarot's not only accepted, but exceptional. He's done something amazing with his crew. And this is where we end the story. What do you guys think about this story as a whole? Let me know your thoughts below. I'd love to see what you think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help out the channel and shows me you want to see more like this. Anyways, thank you all for watching, thanks for supporting the scenario all the way through, and I'll see you all in my next video.